Hi, this is Todd Baker, your certified mortgage planner. And this week I want to talk to you guys about FHA loans. And this is really something for my agents and even that you could share with your buyers just to go over the real basics of FHA financing, the pros and cons and sort of how it works. So I want to start out with FHA is for owner-occupied property. You can buy duplexes if you're going to live in one of them, but it's primarily it's for owner-occupied property. The down payment's 3.5%. There also are several home buyer assistance programs out there. Service First has signed up for all of them. I would say they're difficult to work with because there's debt to income ratio restrictions and median area income restrictions, and most people we end up find out don't qualify for one of those two reasons. But they are available. They're with FHA. The fees are higher and the rates are higher for those programs, so keep that in mind. So usually just the good old-fashioned FHA is probably one of the best programs, particularly for first-time home buyers. So it's 3.5% down. Next, this is a big thing. Many agents, there's a perception that FHA, the appraisal process, is harder. It is not harder at all, or any different really than a conventional loan. The thing that an FHA appraiser does have to look for is making sure there's not any health and safety issues at the property and that it's habitable. And all that means for habitable is that the HVAC works and that there's a working stove or oven, something they can cook food in, and that the heating and air conditioner work. That's it. And then the visual is just going to make sure, like on the wall units, it's not exposed, that there's the electrical outlets aren't covered. I see that sometimes when you find a house where people have taken them off. That's a potential health and safety issue. So most of them are usually easy and easily fixed, so don't be afraid to go with FHA because of an appraisal issue. Now the pros, and these are some great pros, it's easy credit qualifying. FHA technically doesn't have a score. The market has it really at 580, but it's hard to get financing at 580. It's really for someone that maybe just has a lower score because they don't have a lot of credit, but it's very hard to get the 580 done. 600 and above, it's a lot easier. And then at 600 above, a lot easier. And then at 660, there's options to finance closing that open up to us as well. So easy credit qualifying. Rates are low. And here's the big one, higher debt to income ratio. Conventional financing, your debt to income ratio is capped at 45%. On an FHA, it's 55%. There are some exceptions on conventional, go a little bit higher. But FHA goes up to 55%. That's a big deal. And they also just raised their loan limits this year. In addition to the higher debt to income ratio, the bankruptcy and foreclosure seasoning are much lower. It's only 2 years on a Chapter 7 on a bankruptcy and only 3 years for a short sale or a foreclosure. So that's another pro for FHA. Going over to the cons, it does have an upfront mortgage insurance premium of 1.75%. It gets financed, but here's the thing. The loan to value technically is 98.5%. So the equity is diminished by that upfront funding fee, even though the borrower finances it into the loan. There's also an annual MI premium that does not cancel. It used to cancel, it doesn't unless you put 10% down, and if you put 10% down, it lasts for 11 years. So the annual MI doesn't cancel. And the other thing is non-purchasing spouse's liabilities have to be counted into the debt to income ratio. So sometimes you have a non-purchasing spouse whose credit is too low to qualify. And so what happens is you can't use their income, but you also have to run their credit to see if there's any installment loans, revolving debt, and then if there's a certain threshold number of amount of collections, you might have to add a minimum payment for those as well. So those are some of the cons. But all in all, this is a phenomenal program. It's great for first-time buyers. I can work out 3 or 4 different ways to set them up. It'll make you guys look great, make your clients happy. But pass this along to your buyers, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.